DM wasn't feeling too well last week, so yeah, session's canceled. What's up? It's me. It's Perseus Glaxus, or whatever the hell I'm called in these parts.
Bro, it's not you.
This is like that's my Spelljammer character. Don't worry, it's all coming together.
It's literally just Percy Glaxon. I don't understand what the struggle is.
You know what, Josh? Much like the Joker, if I choose to have a backstory, I want it to be multiple choice. So I want Perseus Glaxus to now have multiple names.
God, I hate everything. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, the worst part is,
what?
I was thinking about that fucking sticker I just uploaded to my server, and how I wanted the Germa sound effect to play whenever I posted it. So Perseus Glaxius just sent me over there.
Oh, fuck.
My life is pain. I'm trapped in prison of my own making.
Off to a banger start as always when I'm running the show. But yeah, it's me, Matt. I'm here with the boys. I'm Josh and Isaiah. Say hi, guys. What's up? What are you doing?
I refuse to say anything unless you do it.
Okay. Well, on that note, Josh, want to tell our the lovely listeners where can they find more content like this?
Oh, fuck you for that one. That was a fucking maneuver you just pulled.
Yes, sir. I can't believe you played him like
I think I played myself. Okay then. All right, Matt, you win this round.
Hell yeah, brother.
Fuck. Yeah, I mean, just hey, hit a little pause. Actually, you don't even have to hit the pause button. I don't know why I said that. Hit the follow or subscribe button on whatever platform you listen to right now. That'd be real nice. We got 40 subberinos over on the old YouTubes now, so thank you for that.
Oh, do we? Sick.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
See, senor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to you, jackass.
Yeah, but so today, on top of last week being sick and still recovering, on top of working a lot,
just don't be sick.
Top of, I try, man. It's real hard. And then also the fact, much like that one guy from what's that Kevin Smith movie? Oh fuck, what's the first one that he got real famous for?
I don't
Kevin
know
Smith.
What the fuck you're talking about.
The guy who made Jay and Silent Bob. What's the fuck? Oh my god, I'm gonna be so bad. Anywho's much like that one guy where he's like, today's supposed to be my day off. I wasn't supposed to host today, so on top of all that, didn't really have my notes prepared for my Matt's really long, fucking goddamn long campaign. So instead, I'm gonna steal Isaiah's idea. We're just gonna brain dump constantly.
Brain dump,
game dump, whatever we're calling the series of where we just, talk about, what's going on in our minds right now, what's happening up here.
We agreed to nothing,
in our noggins.
And I don't like the word dump being used.
I like what's going on in your brain right now.
Yeah,
that's too long.
What? W E.
Okay.
How about what you thinking about?
What you thinking about?
What you thinking about?
That just reminds me of fucking the Ashley Birch. Hey Ash, what you doing?
Oh yeah.
I think I'm getting it.
Oh. Yeah.
Hell yeah, you're doing our best, bud. We're only what
3 minutes in. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'm just on top of not feeling well and all that stuff. I just figured, no, the campaign storytelling today. I'll just brain dump myself onto the platform and see what we pick up and conversate over.
Yes, please tell us.
Yeah. Recently, up to date at this moment, I don't know if anybody has been
this moment.
At this moment, yep, you know what I said.
I don't get what you mean, but sure.
Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro have recently announced actually a couple things. The survey packets for the last UA, the one that had way too much shit in it, that's out now. So if you haven't done your survey, do your service and go do it, because fucking someone's got to.
I'm gonna let you finish, except I'm not. Do we want to just discuss the survey thing right now?
We could. I mean, I did mine
there.
I did mine like while I was at work today.
All right, I'm a keep it 100 with you, Chief. Yeah. I have not done any of the surveys except for the first one because it occurred to me. I just don't care enough. I just don't have the energy, and this whole playtest thing is just driving me insane, and people on the internet are making me salty. So I'm just choosing the path of inner peace and just letting whatever happens. That's where I'm at with this shit.
Well, okay. So I appreciate your path to inner peace. I like that one. Very Buddhist of you.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Why are people on the internet bothering you? What is going on there?
Was it you I was talking to, Isaiah, where I was talking about people with the whole create a spell situation, right?
Yeah, that was us.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if Matt was there or not, but people, it's like, okay, it's playtest, right? Another phrase you could use is beta, right? Point being, it's unfinished, right? And multiple times, Mr. Jawcraw and Mr. Percarinos have both said that a bunch of the things they're doing in the playtest is effectively, although they say it a little nicer than this, is effectively just throwing shit in the wall and seeing what happens, right? I distinctly remember them mentioning like the crit rules that came out with the first playtest. They were like, we kind of assumed people wouldn't like it, but we just kind of threw it out there just to kind of see what happens, right? Mm-hmm. So with this understanding, it's all playtests and it's all fucking around. And a lot of it is stuff that the designers know is not even necessarily a good idea, but they're throwing out there just to kind of gauge things.
Gauge feedback.
Yeah. Why are people treating it like gospel? Every playtest comes out and people treat it like it's the fucking Bible. And I'm so sick of it because it literally treating it like the Bible defeats the entire point. And I can't take it anymore. On top of the fact, hold on, I have to finish. There's a whole rant here.
Let him cook.
I gotta cook because this just. So that's the first part of it. I'm like, stop treating it like the Bible. You have one rule in there that you don't like, and then all you're doing is focusing on this rule you don't like, and then not looking at anything else or paying attention to any of the shit that you do or don't that you do like. And then the other problem is this whole horseshit of something comes out and it's playtest, which means it hasn't been fully playtested. And then what do people do? They start making builds and combos with playtest material and the official 2014 rules and smash them together and go, hey guys, I figured out this new cool way you could break your campaign. And it's like, you fucking Neanderthals. First of all, you're combining the unfinished product with the finished product. That's not how that works. You can't. No, you can't. That's just fuck off. Stop it. But then also,
people have been doing that forever with UA. Yeah.
And then also, why are you going out of your way to break the game on purpose? Why? What is the point? Do you have no joy in your life?
I think people just want yeah. I guess Isaiah, do you want to go first, and then
I'm just gonna go hide in the corner now.
Okay. No, because
all that shit leads to I'm not doing the surveys.
Okay. I think it's a couple of reasons. A, because it's coming from Wizards of the Coast, the official arbiters of G&D. People treat it, like you said, people treat it as gospel. So it's like, so if the makers of the game are playtesting this, then that means this is what they're working on. Therefore, we can use it in our games. That's what a lot of players do. A lot of DMs sometimes,
which is not
allow or unallow, but a lot of
not how that works.
Again, I'm not trying to be that guy, but this is a player thing. A lot of players, because I've had this multiple times in my games, a new UA comes out and they look at it and they'll be like, "Ooh, Matt, can I try this out? Ooh, Matt, can I try it?" Or this really broken thing that was in UA. I'm gonna pick, like this fighting style or this subclass thing that didn't make it into Xanathar's or Tasha's or whatever, but it's in the UA, so we're gonna use that, right? And I'm like, no, what? No, why'd you even pick that? Like, what? So it's a constant thing. It's a player thing where they see new shiny, and because it's playtest, it's broken as fuck, and they just want to use it because it's cool. It's cool, new shiny broken as fuck thing.
It's not always broken as fuck. To be fair, it's not always broken as fuck. There's been plenty of playtests that were fine.
Right. Well, all right. This is the other thing. Most of the things that I have seen,
plenty of UAs, I should say.
most of the things that I have seen that players pick from UA have been things that have been broken as fuck that players want to use that didn't get pushed forward.
Well,
for
okay.
reasons.
Hold on. There's two different things here. There's two different scenarios though that you've laid out in one fell swoop here. Because so if there's a subclass, you know, like my memory is not strong enough on these, but like, you know, whatever, Zealot Barbarian in the UA, which later got printed into Xanathars or some shit. Obviously, if it gets officially printed, don't go back and use the UA version just because it's like more powerful or whatever. That's kind of a dick move. Now, if you want to ask your GM, like, oh, there was a part about it that I liked better, can we try and ad hoc it onto the new official version? Sure, that's fine.
Okay, so I'm happy that you made that distinction, because I was going to immediately come back with what if you want to sort of hybridize what came out. What's because for me, I think I've complained about this 1.5 million times. I really liked the UA Astral Self, where your whole thing was I punch more because I'm a weird common rider and I can punch fast. And then they took that out wholesale, and I really wish they had have kept that in.
I find it weird that you said I'm a weird common rider and not I'm a JoJo stand who can punch fast. Because I just think of like a Star Platinum Aura.
I know. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm just gonna sit here in my cringe.
I don't know either. So yes, if you want to sort of ad hoc afterward, that's, you know, that's different. And but however, if you're the player who's like, can I use the old UA thing and try and like do some adjusting, then you don't be an asshole when your GM adjusts it. Right? All right. You gotta, if you're doing that, you gotta play nice. And if the GM's gonna nerf it or adjust it, then you can't bitch and moan about it.
Yeah.
But that's one scenario. The other scenario with the UA, like, you could bitch and moan in the sense that you can have the back and forth, but I'm saying don't be a dick about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if a GM is like, okay, cool, so you can do this thing, but I'm gonna completely change it and take away the thing that you thought like was interesting about it.
That's not what I said.
I know.
Now you're putting words in my mouth. That's not what I said.
No, I'm not. What I was saying
he's
is,
presenting. Yeah. Oh, go for it.
If that is what you do, then yes, you have full reign to be like, hey, GM, that's not chill. Let's talk about this. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, I'm talking about the GM trying to balance the math of it. I'm not talking about changing it so that it's not the thing you were excited about anymore. Those are two different things.
Well, I think that there's an instance where the GM, in attempting, you know, doing what they think is fixing the math, could tamper with the thing that you really like. So that's when you want to have the conversation.
I don't know. Whatever. Maybe this is the least relevant part of this. So sure. The part that I'm trying to get at, though, the more important half of this is when the UA comes out and you get excited and go, ooh, new shiny, can I try it? That's fine, but you have to be aware that it's playtest, ergo your GM or one of the other players or someone at the table could potentially say, hey, we're gonna adjust that if you want to keep using it because X, Y, and Z reason, it's playtest, it's too powerful, it's not powerful enough, blah, 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 whatever. Like, if you're using the playtest, you gotta be open to the adjustments. You can't treat it, as my original point, like the Holy Bible, because it's not the Bible. It's the draft. It's the Bible draft.
Yeah, and there are things that people might agree with or disagree with, and then that's when, again, you have that conversation with your DM and you guys work on it. Like, was it the Ascendant Monk? The Dragon Monk that came out in Fizban's? Yeah. Everyone loved it in the UA, and then when it came to the actual book, they nerfed the dragon aspect ability that everyone loved, and everyone's like, well, this was going to be good. And so me looking back and forth, the minor changes they did to nerf that ability, which didn't need to be nerfed. Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm like, this might be an occasion where I might just say, I'll just take the UA ability and just throw that in the main one and say, fuck it, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
it's cool. It's like, yeah,
it's your table.
It's the conversation. Yeah,
it's your table, so that's fine. But the problem comes from everyone like going online and being like, oh, look at fun thing I made, or oh, X thing bad because what? And I'm like, you're like judging, and it'd be like if someone's like trying out a recipe and they make like a tiny serving and they make like 3 different versions of it, and then you just tell them how shit they are at cooking because all 3 versions were bad. It's like, bro, I'm trying the new recipe. That's the whole point.
Yeah. I mean,
so yeah, I'm just over this UA shit. The 1D, the playtest, the UA. I'm over it. I'm good.
I remember. Well, last month I told you guys the same thing. Like between the OGL shit and everything, I was like,
oh yeah, the OGL.
I was like, I didn't fucking. I'm like, dude, I'm not filling out the survey. I don't have the energy. I don't.
No.
And you know, I watched the video where Drawcar talked, and they're like, the Paladin got really good scores, and I'm like, how? And then it's like, yeah, the Druid got really, 60-50%. And I'm like, makes fucking sense. So I don't know. And this new one, I'm definitely, I wonder if because there was so much, I wonder if because of the classes and the weapon masteries, more people are likely to do this one. Like, I mean, I did it. I didn't want to do it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I didn't do the last one. I kind of have some opinions about this new shit, so I'm like, fuck it.
Maybe.
But,
I don't know if anyone's gonna do this one or extra, or if they're not because it's too big or yada yada yada. I mean, the size of it is not really the designer's fault. They kind of got pushed into a corner because of the OGL shit, and they had to put it out because they still have this. This is the thing that's fucked up. The higher ups are the ones that fuck them over with the OGL stuff, but the higher ups are also the same people telling them that they can't change the release date. So they just fucked them in both directions. They ass fucked them and mouth fucked them at the same time with some spiky friends, and just that was fun. It. Yeah, no, it's just not, And the other thing, honestly, and maybe this is a little inflammatory, maybe this is gonna piss off the internet. It occurred to me, I don't give enough of a shit about this game to give playtest feedback. I don't care enough about 5e to want to influence its existence.
I don't know if that's inflammatory. I think it's worth.
I'm being honest.
No, again, I don't think it's inflammatory, but
just not as invested into this specific game as others.
I just don't care enough to do the work. Like, it's not my favorite tabletop game by a country mile, and it's become so exhausting, the discourse around it, that I'm like, nah, namaste, bitch, inner peace. Y'all do whatever the fuck you want.
What I think it is worth doing is, if you want to enjoy the game more, that's where I would say then you should probably put your 2 cents in, because you at least have a chance to influence it maybe closer to something that you want.
No, because, potentially, but the thing is there's two factors that made me go, I had that thought. There's 2 things, though, that made me go, nah, fuck it. Is one, the game I want 5e to be and the game that the designers want 5e to be, I have realized are not the same thing and are never going to be the same thing. And there's probably a bunch of reasons for that. Some of which is, if it were up to me and I had ultimate control, I would do some pretty drastic changes with 5e, with D&D in general. But because D&D is a legacy, long-time brand, there's certain things they just will not change. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can always change it for your home game.
Well, so that was my second point, is if I'm going to play the game and I feel like I'm not going to enjoy what I currently have, I'm just going to fix it my damn self for my own table. That's just how I'm going to do it, Yeah,
and we've talked about that before. I think the big thing to care about in that sense is, if you can try to influence things towards the direction you want, you would therefore have to do less work.
Yes, but the difference is me filling out the survey is there's a tiny possibility that I influence the game in a direction I would like, whereas me homebrewing shit at my own table is guaranteed to be exactly what I want and be how I want, and the only people that are going to argue with me are the other people at the table, and I can have a very direct, quick feedback, back and forth conversation with them, and I can iterate really fast and easily. So it's just less stress for me. And because I don't find, if I found game hacking to be boring or difficult, this might be a different scenario, but I like fucking with and monkeying with the game and hacking and all that shit. So it's very low stress. It's more stress for me to fill out the survey than to just fix it for my own table. You know what I mean? That's that's just kind of how the math works out for me. And like I said, because I know the game is not going to be the game I would want or the game I would make, then I'm not going to try and like push against the tidal wave, as it were. You know, like the designers have certain goals that they're going to implement, and some of them I agree with and some of them I don't. And like, that's kind of that. You know, for example, I would completely overhaul how equipment and encumbrance works. They're not going to do that. I would probably completely overhaul stats. They're not going to do that. You know, like there's just certain things. It's just not happening.
All right.
So,
yeah, sorry, Matt. I don't really have as much to talk about this because,
have you been filling out the surveys?
I filled out one.
Have you not had the desire?
No, I just usually forget. I'm just really bad with remembering when the surveys are due, and then I go, okay, I'm going to sit down and do the survey, and then the due date was a week ago, and I went, oh shit.
Well, the current one's still up.
It is.
If you care to.
I might. I don't know.
Because I know you really like the magic spells and stuff. So
I do. So my question was, is the player's handbook that they just released, this week or something?
Current playtest.
Yeah. Yep. Did they do any changes or did they just compile them?
What?
What do you mean?
No, the thing Matt posted is the survey.
Yeah, I posted the survey for the last PDF
for the player's handbook playtest, which is the last one we got. There's not a new one.
Maneuver, the 6 classes, the couple of feats.
Yeah.
There's no new one.
Yeah.
I was under the impression it was a new, iteration, 1.23.
No, it's playtest 5. It's not playtest 6.
Got it.
5 is the most recent one, and that's the one that had the rest of the classes except for Monk ? And the weapon masteries.
Yeah, supposedly next time we might see the Monk and/or another iteration. Apparently, they said they have like multiple iterations of the Druid that they want to like present and see what people stick with or what people like.
Definitely like to see that because I was, I think that just like the rest of you, not really vibing though. In all fairness, I don't really vibe with Druid on the reg. So
I was gonna say you don't even like Druid, so I feel like there's nothing they could possibly do to make you happy. I'm gonna be honest.
No, that's not true.
Okay. Let me ask this question then. Isaiah, you're handed the golden keys. Do whatever the fuck you want with the Druid. No one will tell you no. What do you do?
So I would tie a bunch of their other stuff to their wild shape, so that's not the only thing your wild shape does as standard, like as a class ability. And I'd just get rid of all of the fucking animal restrictions. I think that's so dumb. I hate that you have
the animal restrictions.
What do you mean? Get rid of the animal?
Yeah. If I want to be level 1 and turn into a fish, let me turn into a fucking fish. Or if I want to be level 2 and turn into a bird, let me turn into a bird. Like, there's no real difference in you having a bird or you having a familiar, or you being a bird or having a familiar. Well, you can look through its eyes.
The problem isn't being level 1 and turning into a bird. The problem is being level 1 and turning into a rock. The bird rock.
Well, sorry, no. Okay, let me.
The problem
is
specify. Turning into a giant eagle at level 1,
or an elephant,
so let me specify.
Or a T-Rex.
The CR restrictions, I would probably, I give you bigger things to turn into personally. But no. I meant mainly the type of animal you can turn into at the certain levels. I think that's dumb as fuck. I've never liked that. And I hate the idea.
You mean like, you get swimming at one level and then flying at another level?
No, I think that's the stupidest shit on the planet. I would throw that out. The CR restrictions I would keep. I'd fuck with them. So, at higher levels, beasts are not worthless. Although they stop being good, not particularly early on. Sorry, not particularly late in the game. But, the cooler ones you get, the cooler ones you get.
Yeah, I mean, also they last quite a bit longer if you go Moon Druid.
They do, because you get the elementals, but
Well, no, you also get a higher CR level.
Oh, do you? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Higher CR level earlier on than other druids, and druids, can't they just alter, like, they can become any kind of, like, CR monster lower than their level or something like that, right?
Yeah, that shape change, that's a level 17 ability. That's a spell.
Oh, that spell. The spell, yes. But specifically with wild shape, Moon Druids go up to CR 6 with their wild shape.
Yeah, even that, I think that's still way too low.
There's not that many things beyond it, TBH. So, like...
Well, that's why I'm saying, just give them the rest. Like...
Actually, I don't even know if there's anything.
I'm checking it right now.
I don't even know.
Bestiary.
I mean, the flying. There's 4 things.
The highest
CR6.
beast. How is that a fucking beast? Baal the Ravager?
No, that's not a beast. The highest CR beast is a T-Rex at CR8. So at CR6, you get a mammoth. CR7, you get a giant ape. CR8, you get a huge giant crab, a sperm whale, and a T-Rex. You're pretty much in the monster manual. You're only missing out on the giant ape and the T-Rex.
So,
which you can use polymorph or shape change.
If your dungeon master lets you use the plane shift Kaladesh, you get the Leviathan, the Sky Leviathan, the big floating whale. That'd be cool as fuck if you're level 20 and you can turn into the giant whale. I mean, you could with shape change, but like, I don't want to waste a 9th level spell on that.
I don't see what you're talking about, but sure.
This thing from Magic the Gathering?
Hold on. One of the Magic the Gathering plane shift PDFs they released a while ago.
I'm looking at the list right now and I don't see that thing on there, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm
on.
I don't even know what you would call it.
I'm on 5e tools.
No, I know. I am too.
It's a PDF. It's an official, not official supplement. It's in this weird limbo zone.
Yeah, it's in what I like to call the dubiously canon.
Yeah,
I'm still not seeing it, but anyway, I don't know where.
I'll just send you the link,
I guess. I suppose you could do the restriction based. That didn't. What?
Did it not?
Oh no, it did.
You probably in your 5e tool settings, you'd have to go in and click on it to allow.
No, I did.
You to search. Okay.
I don't know why it's not Sky Leviathan CR10. Yeah. Sure. Awful looking, guess. Not relevant. Oh my god, technically Traxigor is considered a beast because he shape-changed into an otter.
He's a fucking otter. Yeah, buddy.
Oh, was that the wizard in
That's the wizard in Baldur's Gate. Yeah, the Nulurus that shape-changed into an otter.
I love him.
Oh, funny.
He's such a good boy.
That's real goofy. Anyway. I don't know. I guess I'm not really 100% sure what the design decision behind the restricting the flying and swimming to certain levels.
Well, I think it's easy because I'll just on the DM side, most new DMs don't really know how to deal with a level 1 character that can fly.
Yeah, so I get that, but here's the thing, Matt. So at 4th level. So you have to get to 8th level to get a flying speed, and you can go up to CR1, right? But like at 2nd and 4th level, you can do CR1 quarter and CR1 half. If you could do something with flying at CR1 quarter and CR1 half, you're turning into like a parakeet. Like there's nothing in there that's gonna be like a problem for the DM because you're gonna be basically useless. You know what I mean?
That's kind of why, that's sort of my train of thought, because at that point you're just a familiar, right?
Yeah. So to give you an idea of like the coolest thing, if your DM allowed it, the coolest thing you could possibly do at 4th level, if you're allowed to use flying speed, is a CR1 half awakened giant wasp. That's it, with 13 hit points, 12 AC, and 1d6 piercing damage. You can't, it doesn't really matter, or you could turn into one of the giant canaries that Bahamut has, but just the bird, not anything else, which has more health than the wasp.
A large sized creature too.
Yeah. It's a big canary.
Yeah, it's a bit of a chungus. Yeah.
I understand the flying is a problem, but you're gonna turn into a big wasp and be like, okay, you're not really helping very much.
Buzz, motherfucker.
Yeah, you're not really gonna be doing anything that different. So I don't even think it's an issue.
Horrifying with a human-sized bee.
Like, hilarious, yes.
Fucking bee drill. You're like, oh.
That would be hilarious. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I don't really think it's an issue. I think what they were I think if my guess is the restricting on the like swimming and fly speed thing is so the druid it's like a niche protection thing. It's so the druid doesn't step on other people's toes at lower level. Particularly, I'm thinking about a scenario like, the rogues thing is I can sneak real good, and then the druid is, oh, don't worry about it. I'll turn into a parakeet and fly into the bedchambers of the king and just dick around in there all night long. It's like sort of stepping on the druid's thing or the rogue's thing. That would be my guess for why they restricted it in that fashion. And the reason it goes away at higher levels is because that's less of an issue at higher levels, because everybody starts doing all sorts of weird shit, as levels go up.
Yeah.
That's a guess, though. I don't know 100% what their train of thought was. But yeah, I'd be fine. I don't think it'd be... I think it'd be okay to remove the flying swimming restriction thing and just have CR take care of it.
I would also focus more on weave natural magic, like weave nature energy and make that part of your wild shape.
Well, that's like you're attacking it. Well, actually, they are kind of doing that.
They're kind of doing it with channel nature.
They're doing it with channel nature.
Yeah. They're kind of doing it. Yeah.
I kind of want it there.
Yeah, I just want it, but more.
Have you ever considered playing Druid of the Land, like for like a one shot or anything? Like the magic druids.
So his problem with the druid, we've had this discussion many times. His problem with the Druid of the Land is it doesn't give you any alternative options for wild shape.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Isaiah wants to play like the Stars or the Wildfire Druid.
And let me tell you, Wildfire Druid, fun as a motherfucker.
Or like the Spores Druid, which I like.
Spores Druid's cool. I'm less of a fan, but I wouldn't mind playing one day.
Well, Spores Druid, your wild shape becomes like weird mushroom power activate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. I want, yes, I'm really happy that we get subclass changes to that, but I want part of your actual class.
Yeah, which they are doing. But I think after this feedback, I think they're getting to the point where people are like, because Wizards originally, when they were doing the playtest for the Druid, they're like, we want to make wild shape the Druid's main thing, to which everyone was like, no.
See, okay, so that's my thing. So if their idea is we want to make wild shape the Druid's main default thing, then I think the way they're doing it makes sense. They just need to do it. Basically, if they're saying if wild shape is their default thing, and maybe they'll change the name because wild shape does sort of imply the animal changing, right? So maybe they'll change it to activate nature or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Because they did change the name of it in the playtest. If wild shape's the Druid's thing, then by default, wild shape turns into animals, and then the subclass changes what you could do with wild shape. I think that's fine. I think that should be how they do it. And they already are. The only problem is they just now have to go back and do that with the other classes. So Land Druid, their wild shape lets them empower their spells. Shepherd Druid, their wild shape throws extra summoning shit or something. Just do that more retroactively. That's all. Because if they're going to commit to wild shape is their sort of their equivalent of the Cleric's Channel Divinity, then just have the subclass modify it. So you don't need to. Mostly I'm saying that because it requires the least moving things around. It's a very simple, easy way to keep what they want and also give some other options. It doesn't mess with things too much. Also, actually, I forgot the Circle of the Shepherd already can do different stuff with their wild shape also, because they get the spirit totems. So I actually forgot about those. I think those use your wild shape, don't they? Wait, maybe they don't.
I don't remember.
I don't remember off the top of my head anymore.
Starting a second level, you call for it as a bonus action. Blah blah blah. Counts as a as a bonus. Oh, it doesn't use your wild.
You just do it.
You just do it.
Oh, it does? Yeah. Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish. Yeah. So rather than saying, so once you just do it once per long rest, once per short or long rest. So rather than doing that, just take the spirit totem ability and tie it into wild shape.
Yeah.
Boom, bang, boom.
Yeah. Doable.
I wonder, does land have a weird thing that they could tie in like that? I know their thing is mostly the extra spells.
I think
natural recovery. During no,
that's basically the same like wizard.
That's arcane recovery. Yeah, that doesn't really work. Maybe the land stride ability. No, that doesn't work. Yeah, so the land druid would need something to use their wild shape on because they don't get
maybe anything. It would be kind of like you guys remember the moon druid where not moon druid, sorry, the moon sorcerer that just came out where like as a bonus action they can swap between the 3 different spell lists.
Yeah.
Why not just do that like
with wild
expand your wild shape and you switch your land.
You switch your land type. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, and now you have access to basically different all spells. Your different the spell list tables. It's like, oh, it's crazy.
That'd be hot. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna touch land druid, so like knock yourselves out. But yeah, I could see that.
I think I played one for a one-shot once. It was
I have the polar opposite opinion of Isaiah. Moon druid is all I ever wanted out of druid, and every other druid afterward, I'm like, man, don't need you.
Yeah, that hurts me. Hurts me so deeply.
I've seen too many moon druids, so I'm just kind of like,
if anything, I would want moon druid to be double down even more. More wild shapes.
What are you talking about, Kobe Bryant?
I don't know how to do it, but I don't know. I'd make them even. I would probably make moon druid even more bestial. Like hammer that theme home more. Like maybe even their natural form, like their standard, like walking around, they're even more different than normal. Almost kind of like the beast barbarian.
Okay.
I have lots of ideas for how you.
I'm surprised druids. They haven't done like a Lycan druid or anything.
True, Lycan druid would be a cool thing. Personally, I would love not even a druid, but I don't know what you call it necessarily, but like a shapeshifter class. Like that's their whole thing is shapeshifting. Like they're not even like maybe they're a martial, right? They're not like a spellcaster, but they can shapeshift into a whole bunch of shit, and their different martial abilities are based on whatever form you're in.
But I agree wholeheartedly. I'm still waiting for my dedicated pet class.
So many options for pets, though.
No. Not pet subclass, Matt. I want pet class.
No, I just said there's so many options for pets in general.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yes. I mean, Isaiah wants a pet class where, like, the pet is the central focus and kind of doing everything for you, as opposed to being, like, a helper.
Yes.
I don't... God, that would be so hard to design for the way 5e is.
I'm not saying it isn't. I know it's going to be a bitch and 3/4. That doesn't mean I don't want it.
Yeah, like, I've pondered that, but, like, they fucking shrug. I've definitely pondered it. I think there's lots of... Never mind. I don't... My brain started...
So far, my favorite has been the Drakehorn Ranger.
Drakehorn's cool as motherfucker.
Drakehorn's cool, yeah. God, there's so many, like... I feel like I'm gonna start turning into a fuck 5e fest, but like there's so many ideas for like other classes that I could do and stuff, and I think I know they lean into the subclass thing, and I get that that's their logic, is it's easier and it sort of shakes things up less if you use the subclass system. I totally understand that. However, I think they've thrown the baby out with the bathwater maybe a little too much and gone too far into leaning on the subclass system to the point where I'm like, there are certain things that I think you should maybe just make a whole class for. That's just, that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to argue with you on that one. I think there's, although it sounds like Matt was about to say.
I was about to say, no, because I keep saying ringing this drum of, this is literally what the designers, 5e, the linchpin of 5e is the subclasses.
No, I understand.
It's about the subclasses. Yeah, you can have a summoner class, but like, why would you bother doing a whole summoner class when you can just make a subclass, 2 or 3 of them? Because you can have different archetypes, kind of like what they did with psionics. Well, so they couldn't figure out a good way to make psionics work in 5e, so they're like, fuck it, let's just make different psionic subclasses. And those, yes, they're easy to design, but they also make... They give more flavor to the class.
Well,
and that's the thing. Yeah,
let's not pretend they're easier to design is a huge portion of it.
I mean, so just because for me, I've got a whole myriad of reasons. The first one, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not worth doing. Like,
No, I'm not saying that. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that you are, but that is like a common consensus of like, it's simpler to do this, so we're just going to do it. And it's like, okay, but like sometimes the difficult thing is worth it because it shows that you're capable. It shows you what the system is capable of, and it shows your skill as a designer if you can like go for the complex thing and get it to work. And while yes, I could just make any of the pet class subclasses a thing, the amount of stuff you could deal with a full dedicated pet class, you could have like a beast pet class and a fucking dragon pet class, or sorry, subclass, and for the same thing for beast, you could have fucking what's the other one?
Actually, shit. Have you looked at the MCDM Beast Heart?
No, I haven't. No. But Isaiah probably would love that. You're right.
I was about to say you should probably look into that because that is basically the whole deal. Is the pet class?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's
like as an actual like dedicated like class, and not even just like we made a subclass of barbarian, let you have a fucking pet monkey or whatever. It's like no, it's like,
and it makes your pet monster like the main thing.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
And they keep making new ones too.
I did forget about that. You probably would be in Beast Heart. Isaiah sort of hit the point I was, without saying it directly, Isaiah was sort of getting at the point I was going to get, which is that I understand that the subclass is the linchpin. What I'm saying is they've over-relied on that linchpin. They've leaned into it too hard to the point that they're stretching its capability because, you can make psionic subclasses and you can make pet subclasses and et cetera, et cetera. But there's a limitation to how much you can do with the subclass because at a certain point, the subclass is going to run into the wall that is the base class it's based on. Like you can go pretty far, but you can only go so far. Like if you're making like the one that a lot of people bring up is the witch, right? People want a witch class, and people go, "Oh, we'll just make it a wizard subclass." The problem is, at a certain point, you're gonna run into a wall if it's a subclass of the wizard and be like, well, it's still a wizard. It still needs to do certain wizard things that need to obey in a certain way. We kind of, like, if we go any farther, we're making a new class at this point. You know what I mean? Like, there's a wall you hit. So I think that, now what I'm saying is, don't do what they did in 3.5, they did the opposite. In 3.5, they just made a class for everything. Every idea they had became a class. They went fucking buck wild. Pathfinder does this too. Yeah. I'm not saying do that. That's too far in the other direction. Right? And subclasses, subclasses are the right end of the argument, and then a class for everything is the left side of the argument. And I'm saying don't go too far in one direction or the other. What I'm saying is there needs to be a little bit of a happy medium where yes, you can rely on the subclasses, and there are a lot of things you can do with subclasses, and I do think they work really well. But at a certain point, I do think it's okay to like add a class in here or there. And I'm talking like once every 2 years we make a class, you know?
But then how many subclasses do you make for said class? Do you do the player's handbook thing? And that's like, all right, so we made this whole class. Now we have to do 3 subclasses for it. Each one of them have to be uniquely distinct.
Honestly,
or you're going to end up like the artificer and you're like, this thing exists. Shit, we need a new one. The Iron Man. Yeah, let's do the Iron Man subclass. Everyone loves that shit.
I mean, the Iron Man subclass is as cool as shit, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it is, but like they don't support it now. After Tasha's, like
that's a different problem though. Them not supporting it is just them not doing their job basically, and I don't understand what the deal with that is. That's just goofiness.
Well, so that it's because of the OGL and the Creative Commons and everything's out there except for the Artificer. Artificer is they own that specific thing because it was created for Dungeons and Dragons, Eberron, and all that shit.
That's
so they don't want that to be. Yeah, I know. I'm just giving you the reason that I know of.
I think that is not. But in this hypothetical that I'm talking about, they wouldn't be treating the scenario like that. And how many subclasses for a new class? The magic number's 2. They always do 2. Every new book they do 2 subclasses, so it would just be 2. That's all. And then all you would do is add it in two subclasses for the new class, and then just treat it like every other class has been treated, and don't ignore it the way they've been ignoring the Artificer, because quite frankly, the way they've been ignoring the Artificer is kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Well, something else I was going to say is in reference to the artifact. Huh?
Don't say. Ooh.
Yeah. Duh. Something else I was going to say is you have to really watch out for the slippery slope of just make it a subclass, because we got an artificer subclass for wizard way back in the way back.
Yeah. And
it kind of sucked because it was really limited in what it could do.
Yeah, because at a certain point it's still a wizard. Like you still have to still have to call back to the base class. Like you can only that's what I mean. There's a limit to how far you can stretch a subclass.
Yeah, and then
which is also why a lot of people say the psionic stuff feels a little like it's okay, but it's not what I want. It's like it could be better with a lot of the psionic subclasses.
Who's saying that?
Oh, I see people say it all the time.
Really?
I mean, also, yeah.
Well, besides me and I was just saying, besides this, because everybody, because everyone loves like the psychic warrior.
No. So you misunderstand.
Like the psychic warrior and aberrant mind. Everyone's obsessed with playing aberrant mind sorcerers.
You misunderstand. Yes, people are into them and they're cool. That's what I'm saying is those subclasses are good and people are into them, but a true psionic spellcaster, truly a psionic, like a true psionic class, a lot of people say the people who want to play a psionic class do not feel fulfilled by playing something like an aberrant mind sorcerer. They still feel like they're left wanting because there's still more, there's more room there. Especially because the thing that a lot of people want to do with psionics is they want it to feel different from magic. And none of the psionic subclasses do that because they're based on the original class. So they can't feel different from magic because they're using magic the way the base class uses magic. So a true psionic subclass would do shit different. They would have their own mechanics. And
I know it's hard for me to see that because I've seen so many people play aberrant mind. I literally, my buddy
people play
Joe,
aberrant mind because that's what they got. Like
they play aberrant mind and he fucking ran with it.
Yeah,
like he ran with it and made it weird in his own thing.
But
like,
you're pushing it and doing whatever you can with it because that's what you have. But if you were given a full psionic class, you would 100% run to the full psionic class. You know what I mean? Like people work with what they got because they're like, well, it's fine. I can make it work. But they would be much happier with a totally different psionic spellcaster. I mean. And what does it mean to be different? That gets a little hard to say sometimes, but the point of psionics is it should feel different from just magic, and this is literally what MCDM is doing with the talent. Like this is exactly why. Like Matt Colville was like, "There's no psionics hit in 5e, and the subclasses are just like." I forget how he worded it, but he was basically like the subclasses are just like here you go, here's a handout, now be quiet. Like we gave you psionics. We have psionics at home, basically. Yeah. And he was like, no, psionics should feel different. And then they gave the
different. 2 feats too. The psionic feats.
Yeah, and the feats, yeah.
Natasha's.
Yeah. So, and he was like, no, psionics should feel actively different. So we're making the talent for that reason. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, as someone who played Mystic for a very long time.
Yeah, Mystic was the attempt.
Yeah, and look, Mystic perfect? No. I appreciate the chutzpah. They may have gone a little too hard on the motherfucking paint, you know what I'm saying? But like, Aberrant Mind is good, and I would play one, and I built one, but as I looked at it, I kind of went, because I knew where it came from, I went, oh, I kind of wish there was more. And this, but I saw my baby be shattered into a million pieces.
Yeah, into other
and then
classes,
friddled along the other ones, and I went, no, I like that thing. No, wait, give me back that thing. No, wait, but that was from that other. No, give that back. Like, you know.
Well, Isaiah, I'll say is keep an eye on MCDM for when the talent comes out.
It's such a bummer because I'm sure you guys also have this beef where people are like, oh, look at this thing that's outside of Wizards. And I'm like, yeah, but I want the game to have this stuff, you know? And this, I don't shit on 5e, but
it's kind of like the thing you were mentioning last week where we were talking like, oh, homebrew and everything. It's like, yeah, I don't look at a lot of homebrew, to be honest. Like, there are the glimpses of, Cobalt Press, MCDM, like the big ones where I'm like, if something comes out from them, I'll give it a glance and be like, maybe. Very hard, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to that thing I was saying about at a certain point, you have to accept that what you want the game to be and what the designers want the game to be don't line up. And you have to figure out where those points, like you have to figure out where those lines are drawn and then acknowledge it. And then that's where you look for the homebrew, you know?
Yeah,
so
yeah, of course.
In this example, I think the designers have drawn a hard line. They're not going to do psionics. So you have to go, okay, if that's a hard line you're going to draw and I really, really want it, I'm going to have to look elsewhere. And that's when you start looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
And I also, I would like to point out, too, I think a reason that they don't want to do the psionics thing is because it's hard and it's going to be a complicated class and they're scared to do a class. Like, I think a true psionic class would be more complicated, would be the most complicated class, like by quite a bit. And I think I think they're scared to do that.
I'm sure it would be, but again, that's exactly what I'm saying. Just because it's difficult and just because it's going to be a pain in the ass doesn't mean it's not worth doing. Especially
no, I agree.
if it pushes the system itself further along.
I say we don't have time for that. D&D is under monetized.
I'm like, please, I'm fucking screaming. I swear to God, it's so annoying. I just
yeah. I mean, I really think that's one of the big reasons that psionics aren't going to show up is because of how
might be true.
Complicated it would be.
That might be true. It might be under monetized, but that's a One Piece fan take right there. Yeah, I went there.
Interesting assessment.
It's a One Piece fan take. 100%.
I think the line of complexity, I think for wizards, the line of complexity for WotC is the wizard. Like, I don't think they'll go. I don't think they will let anything get more complicated than playing a wizard.
Probably.
That's how I'm looking at that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I can see that being yeah.
So like, you know, and also side note with the talent thing, it's not like, you know, a product coming from like a Kobold Press or an MCDM is not the same deal as I found some guy's psionic homebrew on fucking 5e.
Of course, it's far more vetted. That's like
it's
I've
a
talked
bigger
about
deal.
Before. Like, there are certain brands.
It's going to be a nice product.
Yeah, there are certain brands that I will almost unequivocally like root for, like Middle Finger of Vecna or Kobold Press or MCDM. There's ones where I'm like, you know, if a GM is like, I don't know about this, I have to look and do like, trust me, comrade, it's worth it. Yes, like
All that being said, me and Kobold Press, you know, we're not on good terms right now. So you know,
I mean, look, they tried with something of the whatever the fuck.
Tales of the Valiant.
There we go. I'm not even trying to be an asshole. I genuinely could not remember the name of it.
No, it's not a good name. It's a bad name.
Yeah. You guys know it's on Kickstarter right now.
Yep.
I haven't looked at it. I really should. I haven't been judging it at all. I don't really have any opinion on it. I just don't like the name. But I feel like I should give it a look over.
I mean, it got backed. Almost $600,000 right now.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Man, I don't know. Whatever. We don't. I don't want to go on the. Maybe we could do an episode about Project Black Flag and that whole situation. But anyway, I won't.
Is it actually pirate themed? I'm confused.
No, not at all.
Hearing that.
No, that was just.
That was the working title.
Yeah, the working title. Like when D&D's nuts. Like it was just the working title. They weren't actually going to call it that, and now everyone got used to the name, so everyone's like, "Why isn't it pirate themed?"
Well, everyone got used to the name, and also everyone doesn't like the new name. That's the problem. Like, it's not just the getting used to. It's also the I don't like what you gave me instead.
Wait, hold on. Here, okay. How did you? Someone on their creative team must have said, Project Black Flag, guys, what if they think this is a pirate game?
I don't know.
Right? Because you hear Black Flag is an unequivocal pirate theme, right? The Black Flag.
I think, I honestly think they did that just because of the OGL stuff. I think literally the only thing, like, oh, we're different, we're standing out, Black Flag, pirate, let's go, everybody, we're rebels.
Yeah. I do think that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe the idea was that they like make away with the product, right? They're we're going to use your system and get while the money's good, I guess. But
100%.
Maybe call it like Project Robin Hood or something.
What the fuck?
I could see that.
Or Project Vigilante. Or maybe the people think that's superheroes, but
I'm just kind of scrolling through the Kickstarter right now. So they have the class, the class features and everything. One of the new classes, Mechanist? Question mark.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. So there's the Artificer.
What I think's gonna happen with Black Flag, at least for me personally, is there's gonna be lots of fun little tidbits that I can maybe steal, but for the most part, it's gonna be so close to 5e that I'm not gonna care about the entire game, and I'll just maybe steal a couple of cool parts. That's where I think I'm at, because I've been watching Nerd Immersion's videos, sort of keeping the updates on it, just out of curiosity. And yeah, every time I'm like, oh, that's a cool little thing, and the rest of it I'm like, yeah, whatever. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. I'm just laughing because you were all worried about us filling time. It's been an hour.
That's good.
So what was the next point?
Well, mostly because I didn't have any.
Well, what was the next? You had some other wizard news, and
the other thing was the this is just general topic for me, because I've been feeling this way for not even just this year. I've been feeling this way for a couple of years now, and I feel like 5e, like Wizard of the Coast specifically, they're printing and making too many books. It's getting oversaturated. The 5e is overbloated with too many fucking options, too many books.
Hold on. Before you continue, not to tell you what to do, but do you want to perhaps give people the quick context of why you're thinking about this? Because there is a little bit of there's a little more to
it. Are you talking about the books coming out this year?
I'm talking about the fact. No, I'm talking about the fact that the more books got announced within a short period of time.
More. Well, yeah. So at this time, so the books, most of the books were already announced. They just decided to push them back. And instead of pushing them back like, a couple months here and there, because the Bigsby book got pushed back, they're coming out all in succession 1 month apart from each other. Well, I think it's from October or August all the way to October for the holiday seasons, obviously.
Yeah. They pushed books back, and they did also add another book.
Oh yeah, is it a full book, the dragon thing?
We don't know yet. We don't have full details, but it's a full priced book. Let's put it that way.
Oh, what the fuck? We just had Fizbins. What are we doing with another dragon book? We have the gold standard.
Well, so here's the thing. It's not clear on what that book is going to be, but the implication seems to be it's more lore stuff. That seems to be the, but I'm not. I don't know 100%.
But pulls out Fizbins. We have that.
Yeah, it's more on top of.
Dude, what more? This book is. Look how chunky this boy is.
More book, Matt.
More dragon book.
More dragons.
I don't like it, but I'll take it. Like fucking.
How many more records can my records break? More records.
More records.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been feeling this way for a while now. Not even just like this year, or I should say this year, 2022. I felt like, holy shit, we're releasing too many books. Even the year before that, when Fizzbands came out, when Wizards had their best year, back in 2021. Even then, I was like, this is too many fucking books. It's too many books. What happened to when 5e first came out? They were like, we're going to print 3 books a year because it creates a long enough gap to where people are fucking thirsting for more content. And rather than just produce shit like we used to do in 3rd edition, 4th edition all the time, we'll let them fucking wait it out a little longer, and more people will buy the book because there's less shit to buy, so everyone's gonna buy the thing.
I believe the genuine answer most likely is competition. There are so many other companies releasing 5e or 5e adjacent or supplementary or mods or toolkits that I think that Wizards is afraid that if they don't release like psychopaths, they're going to be left in the dust and they're going to lose their monopoly. I don't think they're taking into account the fact that they have one writing team where all these other companies have their own writing team and are not competing with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, they are, but they're not treating it like a competition.
They're not treating it like competition, yeah.
So you're just gonna burn your entire writing team out.
Yeah, so yeah, the crux of the situation, right, is 5e releasing too many books.
And the worst part, like, this is like, we're in the winter, we're in Twilight. This is the ending of 5e. Why are you making more books? But, well, you know what I mean. The 5e 1.1, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, 5e 1.0 Twilight.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I think I have a list like this. So the books that came out in 2022. You have the Critical Role Netherdeep book, The Adventure. You had Radiant Citadel, which was a series of adventures.
Yeah.
You had the new starter set box set because we needed another one of those. Which, but I will say, to be fair, I've heard good things about the new starter set.
Yeah.
Now I don't know better, but I've
heard people say it's better than Phandelver as a starter set.
All right, now I gotta try it out.
That's what
Phandelver was fucking great. Phandelver was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Spelljammer box set, which was 3 books of varying degrees of good and meh, and then the Dragonlance book that came out, and Wizards didn't. You know what's weird? Like, Wizards were promoting, like, yeah, we're finally doing Dragonlance, guys. We're finally doing Dragonlance. And then in December, Christmas, the holidays, when you think they'd be promoting this book like a motherfucker, nothing. They had one stream, and that was it. They're like, yeah, Dragonlance came out, fuck you, all right, move along now. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
well, yeah,
this was such a big deal for, like, D&D fans.
I think that was
not even like the old legacy people, but like just in general, because like Dragonlance has always been a thing looming. You hear about it in Reddit and all this stuff, and then people go look at it. It's the same when people learn about Dritz and all these other legacy characters and stories.
OGL,
and you bring it. Yeah,
I think the
OGL didn't happen when the fucking thing came out. This was before. This was like 2 weeks before the OGL.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, it was 2 weeks before we saw the OGL, but they were working on the OGL at the time. And they
were working on the OGL for a while before that.
I think it just a lot of the. I think it took up mental space. I think I'm theorizing mostly, but that's what I'm thinking,
man. And like from a lot of the things I've read about the adventure, I'm seeing like it is a very good. Like again, and I know I complain about like I don't complain. I'm the 5e defender, I would say, of the group. But even I was like, I'm playing. Yeah, like I'm playing Strixhaven right now, and that adventure is dog shit. I've had to do so much fucking work to make that adventure like run.
I will say, I think you're maybe a little overly harsh on Strixhaven, but yeah,
no,
sure.
I'm not. It is.
Adventure is dog shit.
It is. It is so fucking bad, Josh. I had a moment where I literally had to like. There's only certain movies in my life that have actually made me like get up to walk away. Because I was just so like, the director just slapped me in the face with their schlong and was like, fuck you. Thanks for paying for this movie.
Okay.
There was a point where in Strixhaven, I'm reading a part where the players are like, all right, you guys gotta go do this thing. And then the bad guy shows up. And I'm like, out of nowhere? All right. What does he do? He mocks them and then just leaves. I'm like, in the area with all the professors and all the people of really powerful. He just is it like project image like that the hologram spell? At least tell me it's the hologram spell. No, so he just fucks off and no one stops him. It's not Lord Voldemort. He's just a fucking loser frog. Like, fuck. There's so many dumb things in Strixhaven. Like, I'm sorry, this is a tyrant.
No,
there's so many dumb things that Wizards do.
But every fiber of my being wanted to just be like, look at him, he's molding.
I am, because I've had to work on the adventure to make it my own. And again, I'm not saying like I'm a good DM. I'm not the best out there by far, but I'm a good DM. I've never had to work so fucking hard to make an adventure work. Like I paid $50. I paid $50. What is this?
I just really want to take a moment. I want to take a moment to appreciate that I just sent Matt off on a me tirade with one sentence.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
That's what I did.
And again, and you know what's fun? Like this is like the campaign that I'm running with players. This is such a good fucking fun time. It's so fun. But it's not because wizards. It's because the Magic the Gathering people who made the setting, and then I took said setting, and then I made it work. Not wizards.
All right. Well,
where's my name? where's my name in the credits?
All right. Jesus Christ. He just keeps going.
Don't worry about that's exactly how I feel about Hellscapes.
All right, fair enough.
Anyways, yeah, I think they're printing too many books.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So to go back to the too many books situation, let's. So I know you went on that tirade because you're saying that you feel like the Strixhaven bad because they're.
Oh, sorry. All right, my original point was the quality of Wizards of the Coast
has gone
books
down because they print
has been very mixed.
Yeah,
it's been like you'll have a Strixhaven and then you'll have fuck, I don't even know, man. There's a lot of people a lot of people when I look this stuff up, when I watch interviews, when I listen to other podcasts, when they talk about, a lot of people are like, yeah, I think the last good Wizards of the Coast adventure was Tomb of Annihilation. I'm like,
okay,
that was over 5 years ago. What the fuck?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, what happened?
All right, Matt, breathe.
I disagree. I think that it's categorically untrue because say what you will about Descent into Avernus, the first part, kind of whatever, but the rest of that book is a banger.
Yeah, pretty good.
What the hell? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have a couple of
yeah, I know. I kind of jumped off.
Yeah, Matt. I was going to say, breathe, Matt.
A little bit too much, but
yeah. So, because I'm having a bunch of thoughts. All right. So with the book thing, yeah. First point I want to ask. So, correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm not going to disagree. I do think 5e is probably releasing too many books. However, I do still think it's less than older editions.
Oh, 100%. It's right. Definitely less than 4th or 3rd edition.
Yeah, so I am thankful for that.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I do think it is worth taking that into perspective. That yes, they're releasing a lot of books, but when you look at the old editions, they were going fucking buck wild with the older editions. So
there used to be a book coming out every 3 months or every 2.5 months.
I don't even know, but something along those lines. I mean, didn't 4th edition have 3 players' handbooks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
3 Dungeon Master's Guide, 3 Monster Manual Guide, then the Essentials books. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
So it's at least they're trying to be better in that regard. And I do think it's interesting though that in the beginning of 5e's lifespan, they were trying really hard to avoid this problem, and now they're slowly slipping back towards it ever so slowly.
Yeah.
So I question the whole thing because we don't have the numbers, we don't have the stats, we don't know what the executives and such are saying, so we always have to operate on this maybe if sorta kinda what's up situation. So if I remember correctly, this is me asking you, Matt, because you probably, I don't know, maybe you might remember or don't remember, but they said they were going to release less books because basically each individual book would sell better if they released less over the year, and that was actually of benefit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there must be something going on in the analytical back end that's sort of, my first guess is, that disproved that statement.
I'm assuming it was the year, because I don't remember exactly what year. I'm trying to look through the analogs to find it. But I remember it was the year when the Ravnica book came out. Okay. I'm trying to find exactly when, because Ravnica came out, and this is when also Wizards started producing back-to-back setting books, and everyone was like, "Please stop." Can we have things in between setting books and setting books, maybe an adventure or monster book? No, more settings. Okay.
I mean, the books, the type of books I want are the books they make the least of. So I get it.
Yeah,
because I want books like Xanathar's and Tasha's, but we hardly ever get those.
Yeah.
In fact, those are the only 2.
Okay, so Ravnica came out in the end of 2018. Then the Acquisitions Incorporated book came out in June. and then Eberron came out after that in November. So basically a whole year apart.
Yeah.
And then after that was the Wildmount book. That's why. Yeah. And Theros. Yeah. Eberron, Wildmount, and Theros back to back. 3 settings.
Yeah.
So 2020.
So
that was the year that they started printing out a shit ton of books and materials. Tasha's, the Dungeon Master Essentials kit. The other box, the box set that came in between Phandelver and the new one.
Sure, I'll pretend like
I want the white dragon on the cover.
Sure, if you say so.
Okay.
I don't remember it, but if you say so. It sounds vaguely familiar, but not really important. The year, the gap, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying at some point, the analytics on the back end changed up that statement, right? And so they decided to release more books more consistently. But like Isaiah was saying, at a certain point, it's like you're kind of burning out your team. And then, like you're saying with Strixhaven, the product is arguably getting worse. So now the train of thought becomes, okay, is this even working? Like, if the products are getting shittier because they're getting more of them, so they have less time in the oven to cook, is it actually going anywhere? Is it working?
I think that's
I would love to know the numbers. Not that
one of the things I've been kind of thinking as well is that a lot of this stuff is getting like rushed. Not the artwork. The artwork's fucking great, but the design, the writing,
getting rushed. Probably,
I think, think about it this way: within a year and a half, we're gonna get the new player handbook and DMG and all that. So they have a year and a half to hammer all this stuff down, and you have your entire audience this divisive over the playtests. Now, at this point. Like I feel like they need more time, and they're not gonna get it because it's like we have to meet the deadline, the 50th anniversary. We have to do it, you know, OGL or whatever. Regardless, we're meeting that fucking deadline.
Right. Which it's probably gonna be bit of a problem.
Yeah. And then on top of that, we're also releasing 5 more books this year. And then on top of whatever other fucking book we're releasing next year before the new edition comes out, air quotes edition. I mean, like it's too much.
It is worth pointing out that the teams working on like the adventures and stuff, probably not the same people working on the rules refresh. So I don't know if the rules refresh is necessarily going to get impacted by this problem, or I should specify, by this perceived problem. Wizards may feel like it's not Wizards may argue there is no problem. We're just saying we're perceiving it as one. I don't think the rules refresh is going to really get bumped around because of like the increased speed of books, because I think it's probably separate people working on these things. Could be wrong about that, but we will find out.
Yeah.
All that being said, this whole thing of books, to me really screams of a problem that I think a lot of companies have. Particularly, it seems like American companies have this really bad, but it probably, I'm sure other companies do too, but it feels like American companies have this real bad. Is this idea of the short-term, year-by-year growth versus the long haul. And to take us over into analogy land, because I think about this all the time. I don't know why this is one of those things that bounces around in my head a lot, but companies have this expectation that every year you're not just supposed to make more money, you have to make exponentially more money. And it's not a sustainable practice,
No.
But the
Candy Crush made $1 billion last year.
Now it's got to make
better make $3 billion.
Or 3,
Or exactly. Double, quadruple your profits.
Which is like at a certain point, it's like you just can't keep doing this. But the other
why a lot of like the Call of Duties of dying or whatever.
Yeah. So the game I always think about as the paragon example of a different way to do things is Warframe. Because Warframe has been in it for the long haul for like like over 10 years, I think, or maybe just about 10 years. I forget exactly, but somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it's been damn near 10 years.
I think it's been 10 years. And Warframe basically took the attitude of, we're gonna make a good game, and we're gonna fix the problems, because Warframe in the early days, fun fact of the day, Warframe in the beta back when I played it in the very beginning was pay to win as fuck. Like,
yes, sir.
Like to the point that literally the stuff that you paid for in the original version of the game was just straight up extra power. Like, you just paid to make yourself better. Like $5 and now your attack, you do more damage. Another $5, you have more health. Like, that was straight up how it worked, right? And they slowly over time realized that was a bad idea and kept working and working. And Warframe has never really tried to, and some people would argue this, but I would argue even to this day, Warframe doesn't really nickel and dime you. And in fact, you can actually play, it's not easy, but you can play Warframe 100% free and get every single thing in the game. Again, it's not easy. It's a lot of work, but it's possible. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so a lot of that is the mentality of, we're just going to make a really good product and get the slow drip feed. And the game has slowly gotten more and more and more and more popular. And what's happened, that company makes fucking gangbusters now.
Yeah.
They are loaded. And League of Legends is another example. Nowadays, Riot has gotten more nickel and dimey, I would say, but they're still pretty good for the most part. Like, there's certain things they've done that I'm like iffy about, but actually Riot has slowly over time taken out some of the more pay to win aspects of League. And Riot is also hilariously loaded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they make a dumb bunch of money.
They make a dumb amount of money. And a lot of that was because they put in the work early, and rather than trying to every year make stupid amounts of money, they just did enough to keep going and keep getting better and better, and they keep selling returns slowly go up and up and up and up. And now, because they have all this goodwill consumer-wise, they're doing crazy good, and they have a much more sustainable model now. Now, they could still fuck it up, obviously. So, like, if in 2 years they completely burn their whole, empire to the ground, whatever.
No, I need the arcane money.
Huh?
They pull a Blizzard? Yeah,
if they pull a Blizzard. Yes, exactly. If they pull a Blizzard. Actually, Overwatch 1 was an attempt. They were trying to not be a nickel and dime fest. And now look at Overwatch 2. Now, granted, a lot of people said the loot boxes were a problem, but still, for example, Overwatch said and stuck to the fact in Overwatch 1, every character will be free. Every character will release will be free. 100%. And they stuck to that.
That was nice. I just wish I was able to, like, pay. Like League of Legends, I would have paid, for the skin.
Yes,
like,
a lot of people said that. Absolutely. Which is why a lot of people hated the loot boxes. But a side note, little extra little tidbit that I think is hilarious is a lot of people said that, the reason they made an Overwatch 2 is so they could do things like charge for champions and not get called liars.
I can fucking see that.
Yeah, right? It's kind of fucked up, but
because of the battle pass and everything.
Because they said in Overwatch 1 they would never implement that kind of stuff. And then they make the second game and they don't make that promise anymore. So they don't. My favorite is all the memes liars.
Where like everyone's erasing the 2 in Overwatch 2. They're like, it was the same game all along.
Yes.
You're just like,
yes, it is. So all this to bring it back to D&D.
Yeah.
I know that these asshole fucking executives with their eight yachts and their 3 houses and their 26,000 dogs and their $10 million gold flaked ice cream and all this, but I know they don't see things this way, and I know they're fucking idiots, and I know that they don't a lot of the time look at Jesus Christ, this is gonna sound like an insane statement, but even Apple did what I was talking about in the beginning. That was Steve Jobs' whole thing. Like, say what you will about Steve Jobs, absolute asshole, but his business sensibility was there, and his
fucking nuts.
His whole focus was, we're going to make the better product, and slowly over time, people will realize we have the better product, and we'll keep bringing them in and bringing them in, and we won't need to nickel and dime because we will prove that we just have the product that they want. Nowadays, after Steve Jobs died, Apple nickel and dimes the fuck out of people.
Oh yeah, guys, don't worry. We're gonna sell you this computer, but you gotta buy the stand for it separate. Yeah. The stand's $1,500. It's just, it's a separate thing. Oh, do you want the tower with it too? That's a whole another charge.
Also, stuff like so the new iPhone's coming out. Oh, what's different? It's a different color.
We took out more parts of it.
Yeah, we took out some
Bigger
stuff,
battery.
and it's a different color. And you go,
oh, what'd you take out? The camera.
Camera.
You guys like the camera? we made a worse camera.
Yep.
Bigger battery.
So it's
Can't you guys just make a bigger battery with a better camera? No.
So, you know, I think in the early days, I do think 5e was kind of doing that, where they were sort of in it for the long haul, because in the early days, they were like, well, D&D's not doing very well, so we have to get all this goodwill back. And then as soon as it started to do well, the asshole executive suits sliding in and go, we need more books.
Well, it was also because the last like 2 or 3 years during the pandemic, Hasbro lost so much money, except for Magic the Gathering and D&D.
You know what I think is so
mostly Magic. You know what
I think? Yeah, I mean,
people still fucking bought those stupid cards.
You know what I think is hilarious about that whole Hasbro situation? Because Hasbro goes, oh, we're losing all this money on a lot of our other products, but D&D and Magic are doing really well. So what do? They go, oh, well, if those two sectors are doing really well, we should definitely fuck with them. As opposed to... We should
tell them how to do their job.
Yeah, tell them how to do their job. As opposed to, I don't know, leaving the two sectors of your company that are doing well to keep doing what they were doing because they were already knowing what they were doing and they were doing it well. Why would you mess with it? It's like
exactly
the literally opposite. Leave them the fuck alone.
And then, yeah.
Leave them the fuck alone. So stupid. You know, actually, you want another great video game comparison for this whole situation? Literally,
Destiny?
No, not Destiny. Although you could maybe make an argument for Destiny, but no. Street Fighter. Street Fighter 5.
You know I didn't have any alcohol on me and you did this to me right now, you bastard.
Yeah, take a shot. Josh brings up fighting games. Street Fighter 5. Because here's the thing, right? Street Fighter 5 didn't do well in the beginning. And then by the end of its lifespan, did a lot better. And a lot of people were much happier with Street Fighter 5 by the end. But it was still built on shaky foundation. So, you know, there was only so much they could do with it. But Capcom... By the time Street Fighter 5 is ending, Capcom was going from doing really shitty to now they're doing really, really well. Resident Evil's popping off. DMC's popping off. Monster Hunter's popping off, right? All their big shit. Mega Man 11 is the best-selling Mega Man ever. All their shit is popping off. What do they say to the Street Fighter team? They go, hey, y'all, knock yourselves out. Do whatever the fuck you want. Go buck wild. Here's a stack of cash. What happens? They've made... what is shaping up to be the literal best Street Fighter game ever made. And it's the same people who made Street Fighter 5. And it's because they learned and they had the time to build up the skill and build up the focus and slowly get that goodwill in there and get people on their side. And then the suits at the company let them do their thing. And now we have an amazing product. Now, technically, Street Fighter 6 isn't out yet, but we've all played it. Everybody's played it quite a lot at this point. And it's...
I haven't.
I know. Yes, we know, Matt. We know you hate fighting games.
I don't hate them. I'm just not good at them.
Namaste.
It's so complicated.
What are you namaste?
I just want a button mash, man.
Because I think that a lot of people...
If I just smash the controller really hard, it'll just, I'll just win the match.
Well, here's the thing.
Look, I'm with Matt. I slap buttons.
All right, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Two things. I'm trying to hold it in because I'm not trying to go on a rant about fighting games because I think that a lot of people misunderstand fighting games and there's a weird stigma around them is what I'll say. But also, Matt, if you just want to hit buttons, Street Fighter 5 has a mode where you can literally hit one button and it will do shit for you.
Hell yeah, brother.
That's not an exaggeration.
Now we're cooking with portals.
You can hit one button. Literally. Anyway. Point being, everyone who's played Street Fighter 6, it's not out yet technically, but everyone who's played the beta and the demo and the closed beta and all the footage we've all watched and all this other shit. And when I say me, I mean people who are into fighting games. Yes, I know you don't give a shit, Matt. We're all super hyped and basically everyone's like, this is the best Street Fighter ever. So just let the creatives do the work, I guess is really all this rant is. Let the creatives do the work. And Hasbro is doing the literal opposite. It's just infuriating.
Yeah.
Why are you
like
the
Homer
this?
Simpson meme from the episode where he brings out the little Chinese boy to, help him with his math test. And he's like, pokes him. Come on, do math. As brother Wizards of the Coast, like, come on, print money.
Yeah, it's like. So yeah, basically, I do think they're releasing too many books, and I think they had the right idea in the beginning. And I don't know. We'll see where the situation is. It must be working out for them currently because they're still doing it. So I don't know. I guess we'll fucking see. Although,
Isaiah, what do you think?
I've got literally nothing to say on this, bud.
You have nothing to say on them selling more books? You don't
nothing
care?
that you haven't already said.
Oh.
There was a few times where I was gonna pipe up, and I went, no, he got. Well,
now I feel like an asshole.
I'd go off, King. I don't fucking.
I don't. Do you have the pipe ups now? I mean, you want to add? I don't.
No, I've got literally nothing. You hit it all.
Oh. All right, so I guess Isaiah just agrees with everything I said.
Yeah, just don't burn your people out. Don't be like,
yeah.
I guess the only other caveat is that I have to say is, and you see this on the fucking Angry Bird app because everyone on that app is a psychopath.
Oh baby, Angry Bluebird.
You need to stop taking your anger out on the designers. They've done literally nothing.
Yeah. Oh fucking
no, it's
Christ,
not their
yes.
fault.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Which I felt bad during the OGL because a lot of people were throwing a lot of hate on these designers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically that. And
it's like, bro, Jawcraw didn't write the fucking OGL.
Yeah, I might catch some flack because I'm about to be not so nice to our 40 subscribers. Use your brain for like 2 seconds. I'm sure you listeners, I'm sure you do. But this is if you know someone who doesn't, point them our way. Use your fucking brain. Don't just get mad at the first thing you hear or see. Do some research. Look shit up. Because anyone with like an iota of brain cells can see that everyone who's a good actor on the Wizards team didn't want to do this to you. In fact, it came out they really didn't.
Yeah, they really didn't.
I think it's because that like Jeremy Crawford, Chris Perkins, they're the faces.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So people were throwing tomato at them because they're the only fucking faces they have in the company. Like Wizards of the Coast, this big, mass, empty corporate company that no one knows what the face are except for these two guys.
And
the D&D Beyond team. I forgot
Todd
her
Kendrick.
name. I'm sorry.
And
he's with them, but the new
people like that
host. Yeah, I feel so bad. The woman who runs the basically the face of D&D Beyond now, the one with the glasses.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Not that important. Point being, that it's the double-edged sword of having it's the double-edged sword of having the face person, because on one hand it's good because it gives your soulless corporate company a little bit of a human bent for people to interact with. But on the other hand, it's bad because when shit goes bad, people attack that person, even though, it's almost never their fault. Actually, Warhammer Darktide is running into this problem quite a bit because the community manager, Catfish, often goes on stuff like the Reddit and the forums and stuff and will respond to people. So people come after her about the design of the game, and it's like, bro, she's not the designers. she's the community manager. Stop it. So yeah, that's that double-edged sword situation. I wonder. I posit the thought: if the executives want to see if the executives are like, no, designers, you need to nickel and dime the people harder, right? If that's what they're saying, could we not have maybe a bit of a happy medium where big full price books, they release 3 a year, and then, do a Dragon magazine, do an Arcadia again?
Dude, it's insane
why can't
how
they
many
do
people are genuine. One of the big things with fucking Warhammer Plus is they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna get your own magazine, and it's a whole lot of nothing. People really like White Dwarf and Dragon magazine because it was it's one of those things where you pick it up and you're looking through it, and then there's like a small article, and you go, "Oh, I was thinking about that. How did they figure that out?" It's
kind of what people are treating the UA as now, but a more finalized product.
Yeah, like same thing with me. I subscribe to the Sly Flourish. He makes a bunch of stuff every once in a while. MCM the Arcadia.
Yeah, Arcadia.
Until that ends in June. There's another guy, the DM Lair.
I know. Well, they might change their mind on that now. I don't know.
Did they? I don't know
if they have, but they might, because the OGL stuff changed. They might change their mind now. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't remember. I gotta look at.
I don't think they've said anything, but I wouldn't be surprised. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but there's a ton, and then another one I'm on and off again because they're a little expensive, but DM Lair, he does a Patreon every month. And then after the month's over, he'll put it, whatever the magazine on his website. And it's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of good shit. Same thing with exactly like Arcadia. But his is $15, whereas Arcadia is $5.
I think Arcadia is usually $7, but yeah.
Yeah, I got grandfathered in for
right.
Because I was an original Patreon member. And then they're like, hey, if you're new, an old patron, you can stay on for $5 or whatever. And I'm like, neat.
It's imagine if Wizards had their own official, Arcadia, and it doesn't need to be huge articles or anything either. 30 pages is probably fine. Imagine
Arcadia's not that big. Yeah.
Imagine it's oh, here's a little 30-page article we just came out. Here's a new subclass. And that's the whole focus, I feel like people would eat that up.
Yeah, it's smaller chunks of content.
Whereas now, the problem we have now is this full book comes out, right? This full $60, soon to be $70 book comes out, and you look at it and go, okay, is there at least one thing in this book I give a shit about? Okay, yes, there's one thing. Is that one thing enough of a thing that I give a shit about to justify me spending $60 when I'm not going to use the rest of the book?
Right, but then they want you to go to D&D Beyond, where you can buy their books in piecemeal. Oh, you only want this one subclass? Oh, pay $3 and you can get it.
They do, but that system's also kind of clunky, and you can't buy everything piecemeal. It's if they just did it magazine style, it would be so much easier. Oh, here's a $5 magazine. Oh, that has a cool subclass. I want it. All right, I'll get that magazine. Oh, here's another magazine. This is a new set of weapons. Oh, I don't care about those. I'm not gonna get that one.
Did you?
So much easier.
This reminded me. Did you guys hear too? The Big B's book. That's the first one coming out in August.
Yeah.
So I guess the Druid didn't make the playtest either.
Yeah.
I know. So it's just gonna be which I like the Giant, Barbarian subclass. I thought it was fucking sick.
But you're telling me you're increasing the price, and it's gonna have less content?
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
They also didn't go
wild.
Which, to be fair, I remember that I actually did that survey for that playtest, and there was it was like a Modron, but it wasn't a Modron race, and it was really just weird. And I remember giving that not good scores because I'm I don't even know what this
With the Modron? Oh, you mean the Autonome?
No, not the Autonome. There was another.
There was another one.
There was another one they were working on, and this one was supposed to be a playable Modron without fully being a Modron, but it was too weird, too clunky, and I was and I was also why is this in the Giant book?
Yes, yeah. Why is it in the Giant UA?
Why is this in the Giant UA? Yeah, why is this in the playtest with the Unga Bunga Barbarian and the Summon Dinosaur Druid? What?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy to me. It's you're actively giving me less content and increasing the price. And also the last couple of books have been kind of rough. I mean, Jesus Christ, let's not forget how small Spelljammer was.
Well, again, they did that on purpose, and I was okay with the box set format. Again, the smaller
I'm okay with the box set format, but when you added them all together, they were less.
Yeah.
It's seriously? Man, Spelljammer really fucking shot me in the foot. It was so
try not to think about it.
Yeah, Spelljammer was bad, man. That one fucked me up.
I think Josh can attest. That is the one thing that I talked about for years. Like, God, I want Spelljammer. God, Spelljammer's gonna be so fucking cool when it comes out.
That was the only
broke my fucking heart is what it did.
That was the only like setting book that I actually was like a little bit intrigued by. Like in terms of set, because I don't really give a shit about setting books, but that one I was Spelljammer is so weird that I was like, there's a lot of cool potential here. And they just
I'm surprised because I remember for years, like when everyone's like, just bring me Spelljammer, I want Spelljammer. I was the one person being like, really? I'm like, why? Like,
it's because it's cool and weird. Like it's because it's different.
Nobody, yeah. But most of the people that were saying that were like, remember, I saw that one post on Instagram where people were like, oh, we're coming out with this new thing for Critical Role. And the one comment was like, get this woke fucking Critical Role crap out of my D&D and give me my fucking Spelljammer already. And I was like, whoa, sir.
Well, that's not how you react to that, but okay.
Exactly. And I was just like, I'm like, is it the I don't like saying old, the old grognards, but like, you know what I mean, like the legacy players.
Yeah, it's the grognards.
I thought it was just them saying Spelljammer, and then it just became a meme.
Well, no,
and then everybody wanted Spelljammer, and I was like, oh.
I think the appeal. Like, okay. I think the appeal of Spelljammer genuinely came from a place that so many of the 5e products felt like they were playing it very safe. And Spelljammer is so weird and so different, or at least it has the potential to be so weird and different from anything else, that people wanted it because they wanted a departure from what we've been getting. Everything up to that point was feeling, even the Magic the Gathering book still felt like mostly D&D, we're playing it safe kind of thing. But the idea of Spelljammer, it's like, oh, it's got fucking wacky space vampires and clowns with laser guns and shit. Like, that's crazy. Let's go. Let's do something buck wild. And then they just squandered the shit out of it because they didn't really commit to the buck wild.
I think there's a big part of that, but I think what a lot of people want, maybe not a lot of people, what I want is us to eventually hit Planescape, so you can sort of do away with, like, maybe not do away with setting books, but you can sort of more eloquently flow them into one campaign, right? If you're like, well, guys, we're in fucking Faerun, we're not gonna go to Amonkhet, and with Planescape you can do that like pretty easily.
Planescape's on the way.
It is,
it's coming out this year.
So
yeah, after Spelljammer, you're not so excited about it anymore.
No, I'm fucking horrified. In fact,
yeah. And then also it's going to connect even. I don't know if the Fandelver book's also going to connect into it, but I know the Planescape book is specifically connecting to something with Vecna into the creation of the new edition, not edition.
Yeah.
Which is just cool because Vecna does have a history with Planescape, and like that's how he originally left Ravenloft.
Just call it the rules refresh, Matt.
Yeah, no, I like my overcomplicated version.
You like the longer, harder to say sentence?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So I don't know, and I'm also one of those guys where like I remember like looking at the art for like Planescape and shit, and I'm like, oh, this is neat. But as a setting, like, it didn't, I don't know, for me, I'm like, Same thing with Spelljammer. I'm like, this is neat, but I'm not, like, jonesing. I was like, this is cool. This is cool.
I think you would have been a lot more jonesing if it was, like, if there was more to it, Like, man,
Well, no, because I do find there's good material in the Spelljammer stuff. It's just, it's like, again, the adventure... It comes and goes. Sometimes it's Spelljammer, sometimes it's fucking Tomb of Annihilation.
I mean, I don't even give a shit about the adventure in terms of like for
the monsters. The monsters are pretty, for the most part. Right. Most of the monsters are great. Yeah, most of the monsters, they go from pretty good to like, again, a little over deadly at times, but like good design.
Sure,
and then the player facing book where it was. The ships, the big crux of everybody's number one complaint. Exactly.
So it's like, why would you? It's just
not design a ship. Like they had somewhat of a ship combat for what do you call it? For Ghost of Saltmarsh. And then they developed all those vehicles for, yeah, I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. They've had these trial and errors for years where it's like, all right, you had Ghost of Saltmarsh for all these books. You had Descent to Avernus and Acquisitions Incorporated where you had all these other vehicles. You'd think by now, or before Spelljammer came out, they'd take what they did and went, what didn't work, what did work, like work on it. And then by the time Spelljammer came out, you can run decent ship combat without it being not fun. And they just threw their hands up and were like, nope, honestly, you know what? You do it.
If Spelljammer had come out and the entire box set was shit, except there were really good ship rules, and I don't mean just ship combat, just ship rules in general, just like a really robust rules set for the ships, I would forgive everything else.
Yeah, that would have been a dub for me.
Yeah, I would have forgiven the whole rest of it. I would have been like, well, the monsters are shit, and the adventure shit, and the subclasses kind of suck, but the ship rules, though. That would have been
I don't know about that.
100%. 100%. Also, I think there should have been some like cool, wacky, fun space equipment in there, and they didn't do that either.
They barely did, yeah. Spacesuit.
Yeah, there's a spacesuit, and it was a magic item,
and the Spelljammer chair,
and it wasn't even equipment. It was magic items. I wanted like normal, weird sci-fi equipment, or magic sci-fi, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I do like the new air bubble spell because it has uses other than Spelljammer.
Sure. All right. Yeah, I'll give them that one little tiny iota. Like, I guess. Yeah. Sure. Oh, fucking Spelljammer. I think it's really telling too, because like almost immediately after Spelljammer came out, a bunch of third parties were like, "Here's all this extra shit you could add to your Spelljammer campaign that I made."
Oh my god, so many!
Immediately, I was like, "Wow."
You know, it's funny because right now too, Adventure League, their major thing is Spelljammer. So they've been constantly, since Spelljammer came out last year, they've been just making a ton of Spelljammer adventures and everything, which has been good, you know, for the life of Spelljammer. But I don't know if anything's been like besides like, again, third party shit of ship combat with that. It's just write the Spelljammer adventure. There you go.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm out. Got any other points you want to hit, Matt, or do we want to wrap it? Or
I mean, real quick, I guess if we want. I know Isaiah, you didn't get really time to mention it, but I know you really like the wizard spells, class features, the modify, create, scribe.
Oh, yeah, the create a spell. Yeah, I was kind of curious what your ideas for that stuff was, and I'll preface it with mine first. I think it's really cool. I think it gives us a lot of shit that we've been needing in terms of like codifying certain things and not just being like, figure it out for yourself. Once again, though, I just feel like they didn't go as hard as they could have. You know, like I was talking about this with Josh yesterday. How cool could it have been, right, if you as a wizard could change a spell based on your subclass? Right, so like, let's say the one I keep using is, let's say you want to use Magic Circle, right? Like by rules as written, Magic Circle is an abjuration spell that creates a sort of magical barrier around you and keeps you safe from all the nasties and the outside world, right? What if you could change that as an evocation wizard to be like a magical boosting ring that lets you cast at full damage like an evocation wizard, so you could shoot those out to people and have them cast at full power? Or what if your transmutation wizard could have everything do a split spell, right? So you can drop 2 fireballs, or when you summon a monster, you can summon 2 monsters. Hell, a divination wizard could do a thing where they, like, let's say you drop a fireball on somebody, and you can put divination into it to, like, force disadvantage or make it so that it negates things like evasion. Like, there's so many insane possibilities that they could have really pushed. And, you know, we got some cool stuff, but I wanted more. And I think that we still have a chance for that to be more, and I'm really hopeful that we do. That's all. That was my big thing.
Oh, okay. I don't know, Josh, do you have anything on them, or not really?
Of course I do. Listen, this is a game mechanic, so of course I have a metric fuckload of opinions on it. I'm not that so Isaiah's idea is interesting in terms of like the modify spell kind of thing, and I'm not against it, but not necessarily what I was looking for. You know, I already said, fucking, what was it when we were talking about the sort of cinematic game design episode? I already said what I wanted this to be, and what I thought it was is a weave magical bullshit type ability. You know, like a spell and or class ability that covers edge cases, because, you know, in a game you cannot possibly cover for every scenario ever, right? You cannot do that in a tabletop game. It is impossible. And if you try to do that, all that you end up with is the overbloatedness of games like 3.5 when you try to do it, right? So don't try to do that. But by having in a, as I call it, weave magical bullshit spell or ability or whatever, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be a spell, but a weave magical bullshit type thing, by having that in there, it lets you cover for all of the like weird edge cases that a player might run into where they want to do a cool, magical, evocative, cinematic thing, but they can't because a spell doesn't exist for it, or an ability doesn't exist for it, or there's a spell that's like kind of similar but doesn't quite hit the mark, or blah, 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 you know, all this shit. I wanted it to be like a very fictional powered thing that lets you sort of come up with like, oh, GM, can I try and like, can I create these stone stairways to get up this wall so we don't have to like climb it or something? It's like, maybe you could use like the mold earth spell or something, blah, blah. Whereas if you had the weave magical bullshit spell, you would just say, GM, I would like to create with this spell, like transmute a big stone staircase for up to walk up to. And the GM says, okay, your stipulations for this are you could do it, but it's gonna take you some time. Like it'll take you, you know, 30 minutes or something. And you have to be present, like you, the wizard, have to be present the entire time it's there. And once you get away from a certain range, it's gonna disappear, you know? Like the GM, you give a fictional power and they give you a fictional stipulation back. Boom, bang, boom. The problem is that 5e is mechanics first and not fiction first in terms of how the game is designed. So you'd have to, it's just not going to happen because they're more worried about like, how does the math work out? And also the other thing is 5e is a resource management game, and having a very fictional centric mechanic like that is very hard to attach resource management to it and have it not be clunky basically and have it work. I mean, I'm sure it's doable, but like me having thought about it, it's tricky to say the least. So yeah, it's not what I wanted, but I also sort of understand I'm probably not gonna get what I want. And you know, also I think probably part of the other problem is that the culture around 5e as it is currently, or should I say D&D, because really this includes the past editions, because the game is math and mechanics first, there's going to be a certain type of player who looks at the weave magical bullshit ability and says, can I use this to cast a fireball that does 500 damage? You know? And like, that's how their brain's going to go. And that's not really the point, but there's a certain culture around D&D that's probably going to happen. And, yeah, it kind of ruins people's fun a little bit when you, so yeah. It's like I was saying to Isaiah, something that got me really annoyed about the create a spell thing that they put in the playtest is I immediately saw a bunch of people go online and say, oh, look at how all these fun ways you can totally destroy your campaign using this ability Wizards put in the game. And it's like, seriously?
I saw those too.
There was a ton of them. And I was like, really, guys? That's your first thought is, how can I ruin everyone else's fun? What the fuck? Come on. You know, like, so I know I'm not going to get what I want. In terms of how could they adjust it to sort of get something good, like get something interesting in the direction of what I'm talking about, I don't, hard to say. Like, I don't really know what it would look like, because a lot of basically the way it works now is like you modify a spell and it's like you add a bunch of different, you sort of kit bash the spell with like different options. So it's like, I would like to double the range. I would like to change the damage type. And then you solidify it with create a spell. I guess just add, I don't know, more options, or maybe make the options a little broader and a little less strict. But I mean, the problem is there's always those jackasses who are going to just like try to ruin their campaign with it. So like, I don't know how to deal with those people.
I don't think you can, and I don't think
you. Yeah, no, you probably can.
You not only can you not, at some point just stop trying.
Yeah.
If you being afraid, and not you, obviously, Josh, but like royally the you, if you're afraid of the 1% of people who are going to try to shatter the meta of the game, there's nothing you could do anyway, and eventually it just goes to make the game not the game anymore, or just stop playing the game, or stop making the game, right? Like, you really can't worry about those people, and I know that it's really, like, believe me, I worry about it too. My players are pretty good about it. I don't, like, really have a reason to worry, but I do, right? It's just one of those, if it comes up, you got to talk to your players and tell them to chillax, on one end, understand that that's how they have fun. But if their fun conflicts with everyone else's fun, then you need to find a middle ground. And if you can't find a middle ground, maybe that player is not good for your table. And that sucks. I get it. But I hate to be the asshole who's like, but like, it really is,
I keep joking with my players because they're like, they just hit 5th level. And so they're like, oh, I get access to spell. And 2 of my players are like, yeah, we're both going to get web. It's going to be great. We're just going to web all the bad guys. I'm like, man, it'd be a real shame if I just threw a web-eating Mind Flare Dragon at you guys. Really would suck, wouldn't it? For every fight, every encounter. And I joke about it because my players are good about it too. But it's also like, from the DM side, it's like, they're fucking doing the fucking web thing again. God damn it.
Honestly,
yeah. I get it.
I wouldn't know what to do about that specifically. The whole like, oh, they're doing the web thing again, other than
it's not really like, honestly, it's not actually an issue, like the web thing. It's just, the players that end up they find the broken combo online, and you as a DM being like, well, that just, I had this whole encounter planned and they solved in a minute. I don't really know what to do for the rest of the session. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's where you really gotta be like, hey guys, I know that you really like doing this combo. It's really funny, but also you're destroying everything that I'm trying to do and build here, and you're making the game not fun for me to run. And if the game isn't fun for me to run, then you need someone else. Yeah, I'm just not gonna do it. So help me out. And if they, I'm not saying that your players do this, but if the theoretical players fight you back on it, be like, look, I'm not going to argue this with you. Like, we need to find a middle ground, or you're going to need to find a new dungeon master. Like, it is what it is, Like,
I do think also the difference. There's sort of a fine line on the problem too, where if the players destroy your entire encounter by accident, right? Like they sort of come up with the crazy combo thingy by chance, and it beats the dragon in one shot or whatever. And that wasn't necessarily the plan from the get-go, but that's kind of how it rolled out.
No, that happens. Yeah.
That's not so much of a big deal. But if they're going out of their way with every single combat to be like, all right, how do we fuck the DM over? That's where it becomes a problem.
All right, guys, I'm going to cast Darkness, and then you cast Web, and because I can see, because I have the Eldritch Invocation that gets me, I can just hover over them, and then I can just stab them in the dark constantly, and they're in the dark and they're web, and then, you cast Milky Tentacles in that same darkness circle, and just fucking just ruin the bad guy's day.
Honestly, I always advocate for not doing this. I would be the guy that just gives every monster blind sight and be like, congratulations. Because it goes both ways, right? There's a rules of engagement to running a game. Yeah. You say, I'm not gonna, if you've got that one wizard who's just like, I counterspell everything, then you go, okay, well, if you're going to do that, literally all the time, to the point where I can't throw casters at you because they're just not going to do anything, then I'm going to start throwing Mage Slayers at you. And then you have to figure out, it's like, oh, you're being mean. It's like, no, I'm not being mean. I'm presenting you with a challenge that you now have to think around.
Yeah. I mean, I told you that happened to me in Storm King Thunder, because I was the Abjuration Wizard. My job is to make sure other wizards don't do their job. Other mages don't do their job. When we had an encounter where the bad guys had 2 different wizards and a cleric, my life got infinitely more hard, because I was like, oh no. Not only can they counterspell me, but also I need to figure out where I need to put my counterspell. Also, there's a anti-mage paladin over here stabbing me in the kidney. Do I use my reaction for shield instead? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, Josh has done it to me several times where he just completely interrupts my rotation as Django, and I go, okay, fuck, all right, now I gotta think around this. What do I do? And you figure it out, you know? It's challenging, but you figure it out.
Well, also, do you really want the game to be a cakewalk every single time?
No, of course not.
No.
You know, like, that's what I think about, like, that's what I feel like I want to say to those people. Like, do you want there to just be no challenge ever? Like, what do you want?
Yeah, because half the times I know it's not every mid-maxing munchkin. I throw the phrase out there because it's funny. But it's like, yeah, I want to win D&D. It's like, this is a social game, right? This is a team-based game where not one person fucking wins.
Well, here's the thing.
My guy.
Even if you want to win D&D, which is fine, because I have that mentality sometimes. The problem is not necessarily the mentality of I want to win, but the thing that I'm saying is, like, do you want to win with no challenge every single time? Because it's not very satisfying if there's never any challenge to your victory. Like, if all you want is to win with no challenge, then, like, just go play fucking video games on easy. You know, like, just go play God of War on the easiest setting and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and what you're going to realize is you're going to get bored, because no matter how much you think that winning is fun, it's actually only fun if you had to fight for it. If you just get it for free, it's not like everything. Everything in life, if it just gets handed to you, significantly less interesting, not as fun. Even, all right, this is gonna, whatever. We're 18 plus here. This is gonna get a little weird. If people just line themselves up to fuck you all the time, if you just get handed the dick or the hoo-ha or whichever you prefer 24/7, you're at a certain point, it's not going to be fun anymore. You're not going to care. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to stop.
You're going to turn into Rex from fucking Mass Effect and hide out at the bar to try to not get clapped.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it's like, the challenge as D&D is the same. If you just keep getting easy W's over the GDM, it's like, what's even the point anymore? Like, water's boring because you drink it every day. Like, I know water's real exciting if you're in the middle of the Sahara Desert. You know what I mean? Like, like, this is a different rant, and I don't know why I'm going down this, but just shit, I just don't understand. Matt, get us out of here.
Oh God! You know what's crazy? I'm so sad now. I saw a take.
Oh God, Jesus.
Oh
no. That's right. Sorry. Somebody said. What did they say? Oh, someone basically was like,
alpha, you're a loser.
No, they said, you don't need you don't need any books to play DMG. You don't need the player's handbook. You don't need the DMG. And it's like,
I mean,
talking about.
I mean,
all right. So on a technicality, there is the original. Hold on. In a technicality, there's the original SRD that has a couple of classes, monsters, how to run an adventure, all that shit. And then if you want to go ham from there, you're playing D&D in extra hard mode.
Matt, I don't think that's what they meant.
No, I know that's not what they fucking meant, but I'm just saying, technically, if you want to be a dickhead and be like, yeah, I don't need no fucking book, I ain't paying for D&D, I'm just gonna print my own shit, and you just fucking take your paperwork and...
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think that's what they meant, though.
No, so, I know.
Here we go. Someone said, It's wild that WotC thinks players are actually going to read the player's handbook. I've played with DMs who haven't even read it, much less the DMG.
What?
Oh, buddy.
What? The fuck?
I mean, okay. You know what? Listen. You know, this is a foot fetish situation. This is a furry situation. I'm not gonna yuck your num. I'm not gonna tell you your fun is wrong. I get what they're saying. They're saying you can play D&D however the fuck you want, and you don't need rules. You can just throw dice and make numbers, and it is absolutely a true statement. But you have to understand you're a little bit on the fringe. You know, when you go to the furry convention, you have to understand you're the 1%. You know what I'm saying? Just don't be. Just you could have your fun. Just don't try to push it on other people. You know, just stay in your corner. You can wear your fursuit. Just keep it over there. I don't want to put it on. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying.
Man, Anime Expo is going to be real weird with you guys.
Correct.
Saying.
No, you know what? Fucking, I'll say it. No, yes, you are fucking weird. I don't.
No,
what
you're
the fuck
weird.
do you think you're talking about?
You're allowed.
Who do you think you are? Who do you think you read the player's handbook? Wait, you're playing Maple Leaf then. That's fine. You can play Maple Leaf.
You're allowed to be weird.
You can't make
you're
allowed to be weird.
You're not playing D&D.
Yeah, you're not playing
D&D.
D&D.
Get off your fucking weird ass high horse, dude. Like, I don't know.
I'm just saying you're allowed to be weird. Just don't get your weird on me. I just don't want you to rub it on me. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? I don't want you to put your weird juices on me. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
just be weird over there.
I'm kink shaming you. Don't worry about it.
I'm not kink shaming. I'm just saying keep your weird juices over there. That's all. You know, other side of the room, please.
That's a One Piece fan take right there.
Also,
God damn it.
And again, during COVID, they gave out so much free shit. PDFs, adventures, Roll20 stuff.
They're still giving out free shit.
Yeah, they're still giving out free shit. And so, yeah, if you wanted to not pay for D&D, like, officially, you don't have to. But you should read at least out of every fucking book, the player's handbook. That's the only one people I don't want to say you shouldn't, but like that's the one that people should probably at least fucking look at.
I will go as far as to say, if you don't read the player's handbook, you're not actually playing D&D.
No, you're not.
You're playing a Maple Leaf role-playing system based on D&D.
You're playing your own game.
Yeah, you're playing your own game. You're just playing Maple Leaf, which again, not kink shaming. You can play your own
you did say you were kink shaming before.
That's right. Sorry, I am kink shaming. You can play your own Maple Leaf game. Just recognize what you're doing and just go buck wild. Why are you bringing WotC into this? If you're not going to read the book,
right? Yeah, that's a good point. Wait, if you're not reading the book, don't bring WotC into this fight.
How dare you not make your material free? It's like, all right,
that's like being Pornhub. Why don't you make more furry porn for me? It's like, what? Just you don't.
Are you good, Josh? Are you?
I don't know.
This is a weird thing that you're on right now.
No, I don't know. It just seemed like a good comparison. It's not really.
I don't know. He's watched Beastars. I think he's a furry now.
God,
it's fine. He's one of us.
Matt, fuck off.
I mean, Matt, the dragon fucker. I don't know. I don't want to hear it from you, bud.
Listen, it doesn't. Listen, dragons are different.
I'm just saying. I don't want the
beautiful,
furries,
majestic creatures.
All I'm saying is I don't want the furries' juices on me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, why did you call it juice? I'm not.
I said it multiple times. You didn't hear me before?
Because when someone becomes a furry, Isaiah, they just get a fluid gland inside them. And it's just a separate.
I'm getting out of here. I'm not. No, Matt, just do the fucking talk out. I'm going. I'm leaving. I'm out. I'm going.
Thanks. for game brain dumping with me, guys. This has been fun. We've gotten some rants out. I think this was good.
I don't know what's happened the last 2 hours.
We went through the whole gambit of Wizard of the Coast to our own feelings to furry stuff.
Juices.
Like it's furry juices. Yeah, we went all over the place.
Yeah, you
I don't know. Any closing thoughts, I guess, Josh?
Follow us on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. Follow us on Twitter. And hey, you know what? If you've been listening for a while and you're like, man, I have a topic idea I might want to hear y'all chat about, throw it in the comments. Give us a topic idea. We'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for the record, I've got nothing wrong with One Piece fans. One of my best friends is a One Piece fan. Just don't have a One Piece fan take.
He is kink shaming you though.
I am kink shaming you though. As a degenerate, shame on you.
Damn, that's really coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Yeah, don't forget to brain dump at home. I don't know. I was trying to come up with some catch.
I'm out.
Put it on. Put it on a shirt.
I'm just gonna hit stop.